Good day, folks. Everything new under the sun. This is your Bible Prophecy Update for June 12th, 2024. Is there going to be war in 2024? Well, there is. There is currently. Indeed, we've been in World War III since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And, of course, we have Israel battling Hamas and now Hezbollah. And now we have indications out of Israel that some folks believe understand that we may be seeing the initiation of GOG MAGOG as the battle turns away from Rafah and Hamas and towards Hezbollah. Now, I've spoken of this before, and if you look at my timeline of the return of the Lord, I think maybe the 7-year tribulation possibly starts near the end of this year, where the Antichrist rises to power. He creates a peace deal with the many for a period of 7 years, and then the abomination starts at the midpoint of that 7-year period. You know, in the year 2028, somewhere around there. How do I get the year 2028? Well, that's about 2,000 years after the death of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ died in about the year 28. In the year 28, when he died. He was born probably 2, 3, 4, 5 years prior to the start of the Gregorian calendar. And so 2 days past his death would come out to about 6,000 years of the history of man. And then, of course, the last 1,000 years of the millennial reign of Christ. So, if that's the case, then what I think could be a possibility is that Ezekiel 38, the war of Gog Magog, is going to happen pre that 7-year period. And it's going to set the world up really for the Antichrist, for the acceptance of the Antichrist. And I think before Gog Magog, Isaiah 17, the destruction of Damascus occurs. And that's what you see with the red arrows on the left-hand side. All these arrows are pointing to the time prior to that first 3.5 years, or the 7 years there, and prior to the rise of the Antichrist. I think that's required because the world has to get so desperate, the world has to be in such disarray via economic collapse, famine, and just Mad Max all over, that the whole world, all the civilians are on their knees, they're desperate, they're starving, and they will accept whatever world leader and accept whatever rules the world leader puts in place, mark of the beast, and they will give up their sovereignty, they'll give up their country's sovereignty. And so I think that's possibly the case. Now, I want to look at an article from Israel 365, which suggests, again, that they are thinking about this. People in Israel indeed are thinking about this. This is attacks on northern Israel. First sign of Messiah and Gog and Magog. So this is interesting from the prophetic point of view. Of course, from the Christian eschatological viewpoint, the war of Gog Magog, Ezekiel 38, is a yet to be fulfilled and a possible dual fulfillment prophecy. And we see that coming up. I'll just read a little bit from this because I think it's interesting. On Monday, red alert sirens sounded across northern Israel, including the Haifa region, it says. Several Hezbollah rockets were successfully intercepted by Iron Dome, but debris from the interceptions endangered residents in Acre and Haifa, it says. Now, if I scroll down here, you'll see an image of some of the attacks. It says, as the IDF nears completion of its objectives in Rafah, the focus on Israel's multi-front war shifts northward. While Hezbollah began attacking Israel in cooperation with Hamas on October 8th, rocket attacks have been intensifying as the war continues. The attacks resulted in 10 civilian deaths. Waves of drone and rocket attacks launched by Hezbollah, maybe a cloud in the sky, a cloud covering. That's straight out of Ezekiel 38, the idea of a cloud covering the land coming upon Israel. Right, and this idea of drones is, thousands of drones. This is what they're going to try and do in Taiwan, in defense of Taiwan against China. They're going to launch the drone wars, basically armies of drones, sea-based, underwater-based, and air-based drones. And when they're coming at you, they thousands of them look like a cloud. So waves of drone and rocket attacks targeting Misgav AM area struck northern Israel Sunday, sparking massive brush fires. And that's what the original image was, the massive brush fires there that they're battling in northern Israel, which is taking a lot of manpower, a lot of resources. And, it's just another way for Hezbollah to kind of waste away Israel and waste away their money. One drone impacted in an area in the Jezreel Valley near Nazareth, marking the deepest penetration of the war to date, landing 24 miles inside Israel. IDF launched an Iron Dome missile, which failed to intercept the drone. Now, this is the other thing, that when this cloud comes upon Israel, they're not able to address it. And it's because Iron Dome is good for 1, 2, maybe 10 different missiles coming at it. But it can be overwhelmed if you shoot hundreds or thousands of rockets or drones at Israel. And that's what the kind of the first attempt from Iran was, that show of force, when they sent 300 projectiles at Israel. Iron Dome got most of them, most of the critical ones, but it cost them, millions of dollars worth of Iron Dome interceptor missiles. And if you have thousands of them, you're absolutely going to overwhelm that system 100%. So it goes on, when considering the war breaking out in northern Israel, a section of the Talmud describing the days preceding the Messiah comes to mind. So talking about the return of the Messiah, Jesus Christ. The unfolding scenario suggests that a section of the Talmud describing the period before Messiah, the Talmud Sota 49b and Sanhedrin 97a, describes the times of the approaching of the Messiah. In Christian eschatology, do we believe that the Messiah is approaching? We absolutely do. And I think that, the Jews will accept the Antichrist at first as their Messiah. They're desperately looking for one. The Christians aren't looking for a Messiah because we know Jesus Christ is our Messiah. He came, he died on a cross for my sin and your sin, and he's coming back soon. But we're not looking for the Messiah. We already know who he is, and he will return. We are looking for that. But the Jews even more so, because they didn't recognize Jesus as Messiah in the first place. So they're looking for him to come the first time. And when he does come the first time, they're going to be pretty excited, right? So they will accept, anyone they think is a Messiah, anyone who maybe lets them rebuild the third temple, right? So it goes on. The Talmud states the Galilee shall be destroyed, and the Gavlin will be desolate, and the men of the border shall go round from the city to seek charity, but will find no mercy. As the Talmud describes, Hezbollah rockets have ignited massive brush fires. Also, as described, about 80,000 residents from northern Israel have been made homeless due to the hostility. So commentaries explain that the Gavlin is actually Bashan. Interesting, the Bible does speak about Bashan, the land of Bashan. And the Bashan was given to the half-tribe of Manasseh. It is in the northeast, including the Golan, parts of Syria, and northern Jordan. So interesting detail there. Let me scroll up here. Indeed, the pre-Messiah war of GOG Magog is prophesied to come from the north. In 2015, the rabbi spiritual leader of the Mishkolts, a sect of the Hasidic Jews, spoke about the appearance of GOG and Magog in current events. So they're looking at current events. They're also saying, you know what? This looks like something in Bible prophecy. This looks like something in the prophetic writings of the Talmud. This looks like something relating to the approaching arrival of the Messiah. And I think we're starting to agree on some of these points here, which is interesting. It says there will continue to be uprisings worldwide, the rabbi predicted, and everything is for Israel's benefit. My heart tells me, concluded the rabbi, that God is having mercy on the nation of Israel, and despite what the prophets have prophesied, that the GOG-Magog war needs to be within Jerusalem. Nevertheless, God sweetened this, says the rabbi, and he is currently making it in Syria. So interesting details. They too are recognizing that the Ezekiel 38 war of Gog-Magog, it seems to be culminating, and it seems to be approaching from the north as the battle heats up in the north. And if Israel takes out Syria, Isaiah 17, the destruction of Damascus, if Israel takes out Lebanon, if Israel takes out Iran, or at least, all of Iran's proxies, maybe that would be the time when Iran says, okay, they've taken out all our proxies, Russia, come battle with us, or Turkey, come battle with us. And that would be the Ezekiel 38 and 39 alliance coming from the north, sending a cloud across Israel. And it could very well be, in this day and age, we would understand that as a technology statement, as Chuck Misler used to say, and possibly be a cloud of drones, because that's going to be the thing that's going to overwhelm Israeli technology currently. But don't fear, there will be a lot of death in this, but God is going to show his supernatural power through Ezekiel 38 and the war of GOG MAGOG. When the IDF is overwhelmed, the Lord is going to provide. The Lord is going to battle for them. So we are living in biblical times, folks, incredible times. We're living kind of at the end of the history of man, and the fireworks show is about to go off. The shock and awe. You know how fireworks often close out the day, whether for Canada Day or whatever it may be. And so I think we're here for the fireworks, but it's going to be also hard and a time of persecution probably for the church, a very hard time economically and otherwise. Many will die. Many will fall away from the faith. So be aware. Keep watching current world news. The Jews see that the Messiah is coming. Christians see the Messiah is coming. I also note that followers of Islam, they also think their Messiah is coming. So pay attention. We're in the last days. Thanks for watching. I'll leave there. We'll see you in the next video.